The gods, a different species with the same soul. Before we hop into this chat about the Record of Ragnarok gods, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, let's get into it. Also, quick warning, spoilers for all Record of Ragnarok. I suppose I should start doing that now, considering the anime's coming out. What's up guys, Like with the Pencil here, and here we are to chat about the Record of Ragnarok gods and why I think so far every single one of them has been hitting. Now while some do hit less than others, I still say a good majority of them have been smacking. But here's why. I think the gods work so well because the gods are not gods. And not in the sense that they're not divine, not in the sense that they're more powerful than humans, not in the sense of anything like that. In the sense that the gods are still people. And I think that's the very important distinction that the mangaka was able to make when crafting the gods of Record of Ragnarok. Because if you look at all the fights we've had so far, every single god in some degree mirrors their human counterpart so well. And it's really intriguing to think about and reflect on once you've read all the fights, once you've looked back at all of them. The greatest thing that I can give the mangaka is making every single god have something that we as a reader, we as a human can inherently relate to, despite the fact that due to their divine status, we should inherently be unable to relate to them. Thor's own desire for a good rival, a good fight, something beyond his boredom, that's such a human trait. If he was truly divine, he wouldn't have any mortal concerns like that. But the idea that he still cares about having someone he can go toe-to-toe with, the fact that he still cares about enjoying life, the fact that he's just bored, it's inherently human, and I respect that so much. The fact that Zeus has this weird, almost unhealthy addiction to combat and how much he cares for it. It seems something that seems just undivine, but he has it. It drives him. It's what makes him push Shiva down and go fight Adam, because Adam is the peak of combat that he can get from humanity. It's great to see when you look at Poseidon. Despite him supposedly being the god of gods, this high, perfect being, he's arrogant, he's just rude, he's nasty, he's so disgusting, in the sense that he has no regard for anything beneath him, and he views everything beneath him because of his godly status. It's that amazing type 2. It's a really interesting divide with Poseidon in particular, I'm gonna go in depth into in his own video. But he has that, and that's an inherently human thing, to be arrogant, to be prideful, to look down on other people. It's something that humans naturally do, and it's something that Poseidon does, because despite how divine he believes he is, despite how above everything he believes he is, somewhere inside him is still something akin to a human being. Heracles, a human who became a god. The amazing thing about him is that he has turned to divinity. As much as he preaches about caring for humanity, you can see that deep down he accepts that he's something different now. He's not on the same level as something he once was, and that's why he changes on a fundamental level, and then you understand why he still has that human aspect of care. It's still a part of him that's managed to stick from him all the way back to his days in ancient Greece to the times now. You can see that humanity within him. Shiva, it's that childish wonder, and also the ability to enjoy, the ability to carry burden. Shiva has the most human traits, honestly, out of all of the gods, because he has not only the ability to carry burdens like humans do, not only does he have the childish glee and wonder of seeing different things and experiencing new emotions and stuff like that, he also had his own dream, all these different human aspects, and that's what makes the gods so good to me, because inherently there's something that binds them to humanity. The most interesting thing I note is how the gods talk about in the beginning of the series, oh, we should just evolve a new animal. But I wonder, it's such an interesting dichotomy, because through evolving humans, did the gods take pieces of that? Because you can see different aspects of humanity in the gods, or is humans just copying that? It's an interesting dichotomy that I'm not sure we're ever going to get the answer to in terms of Record of Ragnarok, but it's so interesting to watch. And one thing that I love is a through line for all the gods, one way or another. So far, I haven't met a single one yet that doesn't have this. They are all proud. They're all arrogant to some degree. It's something that you can see in Thor, it's something you can see in Zeus, it's something you can see in Poseidon, it's something you can see in Heracles, you can see it in Shiva. All these beings understand that yes, we are a higher level, and they are proud of it. Thor looks around at other beings beneath him and just swings his hammer. He doesn't care. Life that is not on his own level or above it, in the case of something like Odin or Zeus, is irrelevant to him because he is above that. You look at Zeus. He went into the fight with Adam bare-knuckled for the sole reason that he wanted to feel Adam's bones grind beneath his fists, because he believes that he is that supreme. He believes he is that above Adam, that he doesn't have to worry about a weapon. What's the point of a weapon against a human? Because they are better. The gods are better, and especially Zeus is better, the godfather of the cosmos. Poseidon never looks anybody in the eye, not even his fellow gods, because he believes he is above all that. What's the point of looking someone in the eye? They're disgraceful, they're weak, they're not him, they're not divine. He's arrogant to the ultimate degree. Even Heracles, someone who's supposed to be so kind and great and this paragon of justice, he instantly assumes that he's just going to win the match. He's going to win the match, subdue Jack, whatever, and then he's going to go beg for the humans' forgiveness, the lower people's forgiveness. He doesn't care anymore. He understands that he loves and cares for humans. He does that explicitly. However, due to the loss of his humanity, he has risen to something higher, and thanks to that, he has gained something natural that comes to that. He's arrogant in the sense that he believes that Jack is not a problem. He has no reason to change his ideology or change his direction in attacking Jack. No matter how many times Jack outwits him, Heracles stays firm in the idea that he's above Jack. And one way or another, as long as he just overpowers Jack, it'll be over, it'll be done, and he'll go on with the rest of his day. And it just doesn't work because of that arrogance. Then you see Shiva. Shiva is extremely arrogant from rip. Every single time Shiva goes out there, he's always talking about, man, if I go out there like this, I'm gonna burn them alive. Yo, I'll turn them into a pile of ashes in an instant. Yo, I'm gonna stop them right now. Humanity cannot be allowed to get farther than this. Even when he finally goes out to fight Raiden, he's still so arrogant. He just doesn't care because he believes himself to be higher. I think that through line of pride is so interesting to see in every single god that we've seen go up. Because in some cases, it's their ultimate downfall. In Poseidon and Heracles' case, it was their ultimate downfall. Poseidon never truly went all out because he never considered Sasuke a threat. Even when Sasuke clipped his hair, even when Sasuke left marks on him, he didn't care. He still just viewed Sasuke as this piece of trash that was so far beneath him that it wasn't worth his full effort, and that caused him his death. You look at Heracles. It was Heracles' stalwart determination to never change up his tactics, to say this really simple wall that Jack had to overcome, that Jack just kept running up. That's the thing, and that led to his death, because Heracles refused to think, because he was so prideful. And while the god's pride has been validated in some sense, Thor's pride was validated in his defeat of Lubu, but look what it cost him. It cost him his possible rival, the person beneath the heavens who could pierce the heavens. It cost him that, and that's why Thor goes in a bad mood, which is great. Then you see what it cost Zeus. Zeus fell. Zeus technically lost the fight. If it was a test of endurance, as he admits himself, he would have lost that fight, because despite Adam being dead for minutes, he never stopped swinging. He kept going. He kept going, and he proved that in one way or another, the gods were inferior to humanity, and that was in the case of will. Then you look at Shiva. Shiva, despite all of his burdens on his back, when he finally defeated Raiden, he said human, but then he changed it to his name, because the respect that was put upon Raiden's name from how hard he fought, how kind he was, how caring he was, it changed Shiva. And that's my favorite thing about the gods of Record of Ragnarok. They're extremely stagnant. However, one way or another, except in the case of really Heracles, they all change. And while the changes can be minor sometimes, such as the case of Poseidon, where we see this calm, composed, arrogant man, to this broken, wild animal of a man. Or we see Zeus, this prideful, arrogant, haughty-taughty, not taking the entire battle seriously Zeus, go down to respecting and looking over every single battle with a serious eye Zeus. Till we see Thor, this bored, tired, non-caring being, going up against the ultimate threat, the ultimate power in humanity, and realizing that there is something there. There's something there that he can respect. And since he destroyed that thing that he could respect, he's now alone again, seeing that change. And then seeing Shiva change from a person who thought the humans' dreams were pointless, and he laughed at the friend who dared carry one. Now he understands and respects it. It's the dynamic evolution that's caused by humans in the gods that makes me like them so much. It's the things that change with them, and it's the through lines that you can see through all of them. Because from the pride to the change to the dynamics, everything is great about the gods. And I can really respect that. Like, it's hard to make a whole bunch of characters carry the same ideological through line of superiority and have them all change in a dynamic way that doesn't feel repeated, that doesn't feel the same. And it's because of how each individual fight flips each other and mirrors each other so well. The strongest versus the strongest of the heavens and the earth clashing in Lubu versus Thor. The fathers of the cosmos and the fathers of man going war to war. It's great. The supreme being of them all versus the lowest being of them all clashing. The peak of justice versus the peak of injustice clashing. The two men who come from different circumstances, those carrying the burdens of an entire pantheon versus those carrying the burdens of an entire village. It's the mirror dynamics. Every single person is really fighting for the same thing, but they do it for such different reasons and in such different ways and such different styles that it makes it amazing to watch. It's a beautiful narrative. That's the thing. You would think that with how short these fights are, in the grand scheme of things, with how little time we get with these characters, we wouldn't be able to understand so much about them. We wouldn't be able to like so much about them. But the mangaka does a fantastic job of making these gods people and putting them up against people that can change them fundamentally as people in the course of one fight. It's amazing work. And that's all I really have to say. Also, all their designs slap. What can I say? Thor's design, as much as I don't think it truly portrays like the strongest being off rip, now with more context and seeing it, I completely understand Thor's design, and I understand the meta reasons for Thor's design, because obviously you want to flip it from the more popular interpretations of Thor to make it stand out, so it makes sense. Zeus's design, every single design of Zeus we see is really regal, so it's giving us this decrepit old man who turns into this buff, massive monster. It makes sense. It's great. It's great thought processes, because the thing is, a lot of the people may not know the humans from these fights, but they'll know the gods. So by flipping them as you do, it makes them so much more interesting, so much more memorable in your minds, because they vary from all the different interpretations we've seen. Poseidon being this young, perfect image of a god. It's really interesting because it even contrasts him in original Greek mythology a lot. It's great. It's these little details. Heracles, honestly, looking the way he does, it's expected, but then the contrast comes within how he acts. It's the different ways that the mangaka designs the characters to make them fit their appearance, but to also make them diverge from their more popular appearances. It's great. And then, of course, you have Shiva. Shiva, he is honestly one of the closest to his traditionals, except he's purple. And there are a lot of different things with Shiva that I do want to talk about in depth and why I think he works from a character design perspective. But obviously, you have the multiple eyes on his head and how they vary when they open up. When he's extremely serious or angry, all five open up. The way the one eye constantly moves around in the middle of his forehead. The way his design gets so much more dynamic when it starts to burn apart. It's really, really great. All the gods are designed fantastically. I think they all mirror their humans amazingly well. And I think all of their changes, even the ones with Heracles who doesn't change, I think they're all really, really good. But that's all I have to say about the gods of Record of Ragnarok. What do you guys think? I want to know. Do you think they're fire? I think they're fire. Do you think they're trash? Go ahead. Tell me in the comment section down below. Even if you agree, you disagree, I just want to hear it. These characters are so interesting to talk about because of the function they serve in the narrative as our technical antagonists, except when those roles flip or we learn more about them, it gets more and more interesting to talk about. So tell me what you guys think in the comment section below, and thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with a Pencil, writing off.